Hi, this is a quick video to replace the air filter element on a 1.4 TSI across the VAG range. And as you can see, I'm starting here with this lower hose. These are hose clips which you need a wide mouth pair of pliers. And that one comes out nice and easily. You just loosen the clip by pressing the pliers together. This top hose clamp is the next one to do. Best thing first is just to, once you've got that first hose clamp at the bottom right, pull the airbox, the whole thing up a little bit, take it off its mountings. It's got 3 mountings. They just pull off, they pop off. And then again, same thing as the bottom right, use some pliers to loosen this clamp. As you can see, I'm squeezing the 2 sides together. Ideally, you want to try and move it up and out of the way, but this one wouldn't come at all, no way. So I had to just loosen this with one hand and then pull the airbox down with another. I didn't want to overstretch this, so it was just a case of making sure you've got a good grip, squeeze it together, and then pull the airbox down. And it does come out with a bit of a wiggle. And then it's only really held in place by that breather hose at the top there, the hose in the middle. So there we go. And then underneath you've got 2 screws. So I started to unscrew the 2 Phillips screws, as you can see here. These need to be done before you can even unclip the 2 halves of the air filter box. So I started to unscrew one. They're supposed to stay into the air filter base, but one of them came all the way out. So what I ended up doing was actually just removing the whole air filter. So without unscrewing these 2, you'll never get the 2 halves apart. So it's a bit of a pain really, because if you didn't have to get to these screws, you could separate the top half of the air filter box, get to the filter with very minimal work. But because these Phillips are underneath, these screws, these crosshead screws, it's a lot easier just to remove the whole filter box. Trying to find somewhere safe to put the screw, somewhere where it's not going to roll down and disappear. So that one came out all the way, but this one seemed to stay in, which was fine. But I didn't really trust it, so that's why I made the decision to take the box out, the air filter box fully out of the engine bay. So the last bit really was this hose. So this is the bit to get out. And just squeezing this one off. Wasn't too bad in the end. Nice wide spade screwdriver for that. And there's the whole air box. So let's take that out. I unscrewed the 2 screws again. And once you've unscrewed these, you'll have 4 clips to undo. Again, I just used a regular screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, just to unclip these 2 sections of the airbox. You could probably do this with your fingers actually. Once you've done it once, you kind of get used to it. And there we go, we separated the 2 halves. And now it's the new filter back in. Basically just pull the old one out, put the new one in. It only goes in one way, so you can't get that wrong, which is quite nice and easy to do. And then clip it back in again. A little bit of a pain to align everything up and make sure there's nothing kinked or creased. But it's not too bad. Like I say, you can't get it wrong, so it just goes in one way. And then once all these pieces are together, the screws, the 2 screws in the middle, actually kind of hold it together and just give it that little bit extra sealing. And now the reassembly. So it's just the reverse of the removal. And I found it was easier just to push this top hose in first. Again, you just release it, you squeeze it to release, push it in. Secure the pipe back in again for the breather. And then the flexi pipe. It's probably easier to remount the airbox to the mounting points at the last stage. So do all the pipe work first, so you've still got a lot of movement to be able to wiggle the box around. Squeeze this one back in again. And then push the airbox down. And that's job done. Once you've done it once, pretty easy. You can probably do it within 10 minutes.